get them to go ahead.
Told you
Yeah,
that.
it's okay.
Well, Auburndale is gonna have
Get
their own.
them one loan before the
Pardon me?
other. then I think we can do it. Do it through USDA. and approach it.
Steve Reddy told me that. That's the
Today.
28th.
And I told her it's 28.
She can't be in
She
both.
said, do you have anything on the 21st? I said, no, that's a holiday.
6 o'clock, no, sure.
Oh. No, Mr. Curtis gets to go first. An employee spotlight.
Check one.
And I found it. But I'm, no, I got this, but I found what you're talking about. So I told Mr. Curtis we would discuss this later. Sounds good.
I'm ready.
No, I'm
Go
ready.
ahead and start. Go ahead and put your mic up. There.
Well, you wanted to do employee
And tell
spotlight.
me- and that's what you say, Mr. Curtis will do employee spotlight.
Mr. Curtis is now going to do the employee spotlight.
Good evening, and I appreciate y'all being here tonight. Members of the board, it's always a pleasure to honor employees, but tonight I'd like to do it a little bit different. I'd like to honor not just employees, but their students. And we have individuals here tonight that have assisted us in many ways here at the central office, and they do so many things at their own respective schools. So at this time, I'd like to thank them. Just as an update, the Cannon County High School carpentry class has assisted us greatly in a brand new sign for the central office. So that will be put up here very soon. And the carpentry class did a great job with that. So at this time, I'd like to recognize the Cannon County High School carpentry class for doing that for us. And they also do all kinds of other activities. We're working on getting the trees that were cut down at Short Mountain. They're going to be going to Mr. Mark Larson's portable sawmill, who's donated some time and equipment. And Mr. Larson will be cutting up actual those pine logs that were cut down at Short Mountain. They have been transported, and these guys are going over there and to assist Mr. Larson in and then observing on how lumber is done. And then the lumber will be then transported to Cannon County High School, and they'll be monitoring the moisture content. So we're doing hands-on learning and project-based learning with our carpentry class. Let's give Mr. Ray Patrick, soccer coach extraordinaire. Come on up, Ray, and appreciate this certificate for you. Bonnie, can you? So Ms. Bonnie just said they'll be installing the cabinets in our health office at Cannon County High School. So give them a nice hand for doing that. Thank you, Ray. Ray does a whole lot more with them. Also, who have assisted us, members of the board and members of the audience, who've assisted us at the central office, they have taken on a project for us. And the project is the beautification of our landscaping in front of the Cannon County office building. So Randy's here as a county commissioner. These guys are working for the county. This is we're the leasee there. And they do a great job of doing this. They've done it twice, cleaned out that flower bed, and are working on now on the spring projects for that. And that is members of the Woodbury Future Farmers of America and the Plant Science Program. So that one of y'all's representatives would come up. Are there anybody here tonight? If not, let's give the other hand. We'll get that to them in the morning. And we had a little activity over at the central office back a couple of weeks ago. And that activity was moving a bunch since the 1981 Act, and all our financial records are now not needed downstairs. They're needed in the finance department upstairs. And we were going to get some other people to assist us who are otherwise occupied in the county jail. And that fell through because of COVID. And we had all these records piling up and piling up and piling up. And we said, well, we've got them in 3 different locations. Who can we get to assist us? And so I have a little call with Coach Matt Daniel. And he said, you know, my guys need a little exercise and conditioning. And so these guys worked out, and we had, I don't know how many files, they were hundreds and hundreds of files. And these guys moved all of that stuff from the bottom floor of our central office all the way up to the 3rd floor where the financial archives are going to be. And these guys moved them up 3 floors, and that is the Cannon County High School football team. So come on up, guys. I want to show you our appreciation. And I'll have these guys to introduce themselves, and Coach Stephen Graves is with us tonight, so we appreciate them very much. So if I can get the mic off and tell them to introduce themselves, and we'll present them with the certificate. So just tell me your name and what position you are. What name and your grade, or what you are. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Luis Murray, sophomore.
Hey, congratulations for working hard.
Dominic Spono, sophomore.
I appreciate it very much.
Josh Mingle, junior.
Hey, Josh, we thank you so much for helping us.
Talon, junior.
Thank you so much, Ron. Good to see you. And Mr. Stephen Graves, government teacher now at Cannon County High School. Mr. Graves. Give these guys another round of applause. Thank you for your help for us. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Mr. McMackins,
Here.
Mr. Mullins,
Here.
Ms. Gannon,
Here.
Ms. Thomas,
Here.
Chairman Duggan.
Here.
Madam Chairman, you have 5 present, none absent. You have a quorum.
Number 1 is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
Mr. Curtis, please call roll.
Motion made by Ms. Thomas, seconded by Ms. Gannon to approve the revised agenda for the February 10th, 2022 meeting of the Cannon County Board of Education. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, you have 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 2 is the consent agenda. Mr. Curtis, do you want to read that?
I can. This is the consent agenda, which is A, approve the minutes of the January 13, 2022 meeting of the board. B, approve overnight and out-of-state trips. And these trips include trips number 4093, State FFA Convention in Gatlinburg on March the 27th to the March the 31st, 2022. Trip number 4095, the DECA State Convention and Competition in Chattanooga, Tennessee on March the 2nd through March the 5th, 2022. And trip number 4097, the FCC LA State Leadership Conference in Gatlinburg. And that one would be taking place on March the 16th through March the 18th of 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, A and B.
I'll second.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Mr. McMackins to approve the consent agenda. A, approve the minutes of the January 13, 2022 meeting of the board. B, approve the overnight and out-of-state trips number 4093, 4095, and 4097. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, you have 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 3 was the safety report, and it was the workshop only. Number 4 is ESSER. Do you need to talk about that?
Madam Chairman, you had an ESSER update at a written report that was given at the workshop. on February 8th, 2022. Looking, there is Miss Alexander, if you'd like to talk to Miss Alexander about this report if needed.
That doesn't require a motion. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Number 5, Dr. Marcia Melton addressed the board concerning calendar adjustments if needed for snow days. No, ma'am. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to adopt the calendar adjustments.
I'll second.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins to revise the school calendar 2021, 2022, if necessary, due to the potential inclement weather as presented. Mr. McMackins,
Aye.
Mr. Mullins,
Aye.
Ms. Gannon,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 6, Denise Smithson addressed the board regarding the bus route for 22-23. She said she did not need to speak tonight unless we had any questions for her.
Right. And I believe moving forward with our budget workshops that we've got planned, the first one's February 28th. We need to start looking at multiple things, but this needs to be one of the first things we look at are the contracts for those contracted bus drivers and also their payment as they ask us to look into. And of course, that fits right in with our budget talks. So
Thank you. Number 7 was discuss Westside Volunteer Fire Department sewage tie-in. Mr. Curtis.
Let me get that on that last one, Madam Chairman. Yeah, so you're saying we'll discuss this and the budget process, is that correct? Is that what?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that'll be the FY 23 budget process for anybody interested in that. Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chairman.
Yep.
You will go to number 7.
Go ahead with number 7.
All right, this is to grant permission for the West Side Volunteer Fire Department to place a septic tank and appropriate amount of field lines as recommended by the Tennessee Department of Health behind the fire department at West Side. So we should have a representative from the fire department here tonight. We do. We'd like to come up and answer the questions from any from the board if there's any need of questions or.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, your name, please.
Chief Bagley, West Side Fire Department.
Richard and I have talked a couple of times, members of the board, and I do believe looking and knowing that campus very well, we feel like that they're going to go and get permission from the health department and they'll draw up what they need to do. And the fire department, all the fire department is seeking to do is ask permission to put that septic tank right behind the fire hall and then the field lines going wherever the health department want them to go to. So Richard, anything you need to add to that?
No, sir.
Miss Karen King's on board with this.
Ms. Karen King is here. I can let her
Yeah.
answer for herself.
I guess the only, other than that, I had a few questions, and the question was, right now, you don't even know if you can get it, obviously, because you've got to go through all this, through all the hoops to get it. But I did want to tell you that basically, all we're saying, you can go ahead, but we don't have any say so down the road. That probably doesn't really belong to us. So sometime down the road, you'll have to deal with the
With the
county
county.
on it. So that'd be between you and the county, how y'all want work that out.
Okay.
Just don't want you to think that you can go to the county and say, well, we can do it because we
I
gave you
just-
the start, we didn't get you to finish, what I'm
Right,
getting
right.
at.
Well, the county's the one that's gonna be paying for it to be put in, so they'll have to float the bill on it. So,
I guess it's all right with them.
I know y'all are still gonna be in possession of the school for a few more
Yeah.
years. So we're trying to get y'all's blessing to move forward. And then once they tell us it'll even perk for one, then my next step's going to the county. And
How long y'all been there
24 years?
and never had a bathroom?
No, because the previous administration, the only clear spot the west side has is to the left of the fire hall. And it's probably 20 feet from a creek. So they were limited on what they could do.
Right.
And I guess they never tried to
Go
proceed back because it was school. But
And
we
all
need
that, if you look at the topography there, board members, all that's flat back in there. It's rolling hill down to that wet weather branch that, and that, I'm always curious, that never flooded, did it? I don't know, it's John Naylor, that never did flood. Because they were worried about that when that was placed there years ago. And
Yeah, we
when I was principal, we worked out, that when the fire department put that down there, I mean, we worked with them very much so in the day.
Well, I've been there 8 years and we haven't had a flood yet. Knock on
We
wood.
always wondered when it would, like, say whether it would flood or not. John never did say it would.
No. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that
sure.
is true.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate you coming
Thank you,
tonight.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you for our conversations. Great partners.
Do I have a motion to allow them to do this?
I'll make a motion for them to go ahead and get started on that with our blessing.
I'll second.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Ms. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Mullins, to grant permission for the West Side Volunteer Fire Department to place septic tank and appropriate amount of field lines as recommended by the Tennessee Department of Health behind their building. Mr. McMackins,
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 8 is the modernization and restructuring update. Mr. Curtis, you want to speak on that?
I will be glad to, Madam Chairman. If you look at what we talked about at the workshop in the modernization and restructuring plan, the report from architect Gregor Smee, you heard the architect give an update. If you will look in your emails, you have the conceptual plan, again, conceptual plan for the Cannon County Middle School campus, but it's the entire campus, including this building. It shows additions, possible addition, and it also has the plan for the middle school. So a lot of stuff has to happen between now and that point, but I wanted the board members to be aware of that. Mr. Smee has gotten that conceptual drawings to you. And you have those to consider moving forward with the process of that. On this, the B point of that, the zoning. If you'll look at board policy 6.206, you have the transfers within the system. And I do believe that this zoning policy needs to be looked at. And because you've got in-county transfers, out-of-county transfers in both policies, you really need that plan to be at least renamed transfers within the system. It is not within the system. It is in county and out of county. So I really think that you should look at that at your March board meeting for possible revisions to this policy. Or unless you would like to do that tonight, that's up to the board. But looking at that policy step by step, I think that really needs to be looked at. Our zoning map, Ms. Lisa Black has worked very hard on zoning maps for this county. and for, for our school system. So I really would like to release that coming up in the next week to look at that but this is a proposed zoning map. It's not etched in stone. You've not done that. But then that would need to be looked at the March meeting. Once whatever you do to this policy could affect those lines on that map. And Ms. Black's here, and you'd like to talk with her in regard to the zoning part of that. Because that's going to be a critical piece for this to be accomplished is or the zoning. So, Ms. Black, you'd like to add anything? Okay, we're still looking, board members, we're still looking, February 15th-ish is what we're looking at. So at next week, Lisa, you'll be ready to go with that release by next week.
And that's the zoning plan?
Correct. Well, zoning map,
Map.
proposed
Map, yes.
zoning map that she has been working on.
I think with the policy on these transfers, we need to talk about that at the March meeting, because that actually should be separate policies. All those should not be on the same thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that, I agree with that because the zoning would affect the policies within 6.206 would affect how that map looks, or especially in regard to in-county transfers and out-of-county transfers. And I have a recommendation I'll be giving to you from the district leadership team, and that is, we talked about that at our last district leadership meeting, and there's overwhelming support there by principals and supervisors to make revision to the out-of-county policy, principals in particular. They'll speak loud and hard on that, on the out-of-county transfers.
I'd like to make a motion, we table the policy 6.206 for the March meeting and discuss further.
I'll second.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Okay, Mr. Mullins made the motion, Ms. Gannon seconded to revise Cannon County Board of Education Policy 6.206 at the March 10th, 2022 meeting of the Cannon County Board of Education. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Dogan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 9, the HVAC preventive maintenance program for 22-23 school year. Derek, did you want to talk on that?
Just to remind y'all again, I just want to, a motion to say we can send this out for bid for the 4 schools we're going to have started in August for the HVAC program. That way we can look at it during the budget process, what we're going through.
Think you can have them back for that 28th?
I doubt it.
Okay.
It may be, it's probably the March budget meeting by the time you send out the RFQ and all that.
And two, you have to advertise those for 2 weeks before bids could be done. For that bid to take effect, you've got to send it out, publicize 2 weeks, and then have your bid opening that's handled by the finance department. But Mr. Mullins talked about this, and I think to get the bids, we need the right bids because we need the stuff. We put all this money invested into a new cooling tower, into new HVACs throughout this building and Cannon County High School. Just makes sense to maintain that. Part of the problem we've had for the public's information, part of the problem we've had here at this building is that it has not been maintained like it should have been maintained over the years. And that's just because of budgetary limitations and et cetera. So I think by doing this for FY23, and Mr. Mullins, is that what you're asking for budget year FY23?
Well, I'm just asking where we can bid it out. If we go to the budget, see we can afford it this year, at least budget year 24, we'll know about what we're looking at. But we don't know but we don't know if we can afford it until
Well,
we
yeah,
have.
we have to have
a
bids
price.
before we make any decisions.
Yeah,
Correct.
I just really just want it to be able to be bid out when we can.
Hey, I'm at a board
do
meeting.
it. That's all I'm asking for.
Do I
Okay.
have a motion to approve the HVAC preventive maintenance program to be bidded out?
Absolutely. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion to receive bids for a preventative maintenance program, and let me understand this correctly, for Cannon County Elementary School and Slant Cannon County Middle School and Cannon County High School. Is that correct, Mr. Mullins?
Woodland.
Okay, you're saying for all
County
of them.
South and North.
Okay, north and south too.
And you can put that in there two ways. You know, you could have them bid all four, have bid two also.
So I'll do them all separately, and then when we configure that,
I'd do it by building.
okay. And then all together.
That'll be cheaper going forward after that.
Mhm.
And then you could pick and choose, probably if you desire to do that, you could do that if needed.
Yeah.
All right. And then the whole system, the whole district as option two. Is that correct, sir? Okay, to receive bids for a preventative maintenance program for Cannon County Elementary School, Cannon County Middle School, Cannon County North, Cannon County South, and Cannon County High School for FY '23. Mr. McMackins,
Aye.
Mr. Mullins,
Aye.
Ms. Gannon,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 10 is the WGS cooling tower update. Mr. Curtis.
I did, as talking at the workshop, we discussed the cooling tower. We're going to continue to have to utilize that cooling tower now, and which is right outside these walls. If anyone wants to look at it, that's what we're doing and utilizing that, and instead of the bore fields that have gone bad. So I do want to update you that the engineering is almost complete for this project. The cooling tower has been ordered and will arrive in June of 2022. They believe right now that's out a little bit further than I like, but what they're going to do is the boilers and pumps will arrive in late April to early May. And then the pad that the cooling tower was set on and the piping, all of that will be completed before the cooling tower's arrival. And then when the cooling tower arrives, they'll put it all in place and have that done. So this is just an update. I don't think no motion is needed. Just wanted you to give an update on where we were at in this, probably the largest project that we've done in many, many years.
Thank you. Number 11 is review Cannon County Board Policies 5.100 to 5.310 personnel.
The Cannon County Board of Education reviewed Cannon County Board Policies 5.100, 5.310. And you can see those as all personnel. Most all of these were reviewed in 19 and again in 21 and 21 as recently as July of 21. So these policies are looked at every day, and I have my staff look at these too, principals and staff look at them and see if there's anything needed at all for regarding personnel or anything they'd like to change.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the Cannon County Board Policies 5.100 through 5.310 personnel.
Second.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon, that the Cannon County Board of Education review Cannon County Board of Education policies 5.100 to 5.310 personnel. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 12 is the director's contract. To place the director's contract on the March 10th, 2022 Cannon County Board of Education meeting, 6 p.m. at Woodbury Grammar School cafeteria. This will be placed on the Cannon County Board agenda for the first item on the agenda. That doesn't need does that need a motion?
It does.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Because what that needs to, for that to occur, this is the public announcement that the contract of the director of schools will be reviewed by this body at the March meeting, March workshop, and then possible action on the director's contract at the March 10th meeting of the board.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to?
I make a motion that we place the director's contract on the March 10th agenda.
I'll second.
Thanks. In unison.
Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins to place the director's contract on the March 10th, 2022 Cannon County Board of Education meeting agenda at 6 p.m. at Woodbury Grammar School cafeteria is to be placed on the Cannon County Board of Education agenda as the first item on said agenda. Mr. McMackins,
Aye.
Mr. Mullins,
Aye.
Ms. Gannon,
Aye.
Ms. Thomas,
Aye.
Chairman Duggan.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 5 ayes, no nays.
Number 13 is your comments.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. At this time, I would like to take probably longer than 3 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Who's got stuff for it?
No time.
I would like to leave the behind the desk if I could for a few moments.
Sure.
If permission is granted, Madam Chairman.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam members of the board, it is my esteemed honor and privilege as the Cannon County Board of Ed, the Director of the Cannon County Schools and your employee as the Cannon County sole employee of the Cannon County Board of Education,
Turn up.
announce the principals
I did.
for the school year 2021, 2022. Cannon County, I'm sorry, 22, 23, excuse me.
It's okay.
Duly noted.
Really.
I like saying duly noted at times, so I will do that. Let me change that real quick.
I was live.
For the 22, 23 year. And they are at the following schools. Cannon County Elementary School, Miss Emily Hancock. Miss Hancock, if you'll come forward. We'll get a picture here in just a few minutes with everybody, so. But congratulations on your appointment as the Cannon County Elementary School principal. Congratulations, Emily. Cannon County North Elementary, Ms. Karen Keith. Congratulations, Principal King. Cannon County South Elementary, Miss Angela Cossey. Cannon County Middle School, Dr. Thurman Tucker. Who outdresses me every time, by the way. Certainly last and certainly not least on this esteemed group is Mr. Courtney Nichols, principal of Cannon County High School. If I could get a picture or two, please, somebody could help me. Straight out here, fly right, as my grandmother used to say. No, no,
So glad.
which way would be a good place? We're all leaving, we're all leaving. Madam Chairman, if I could continue my comments just for a moment, I'd like to say that I put my trust in these ladies and gentlemen that will lead us into a new future. I've been talking to another director who went through restructuring, consolidation in 1993. And he is the dean of probably the oldest serving director in Tennessee. Not serving as long as Mr. Pitts has, sorry, Mr. Pitts, but not serving hardly as long as you, but quite a while. And one of the things that he told me, he said, this is not an easy process. And he said, please relay to your board, he really, really thanks you for taking on this process because it's not an easy process. And he said, Mr. Curtis, you'd be commended in staying on board and continuing on as this process. But these ladies and gentlemen that I just introduced will take us to the unknown. And that's what a lot of folks are afraid of, is the unknown and change. But these individuals is ones that are my esteemed colleagues and those that I trust with this job, and the trusting at their schools to get what needs to be done with our students. It's about our students and helping them and getting them to the next level. And I want to say publicly my appreciation to them. The work is starting, is beginning. And it will never end because our students continue to be needing that education. And that's what we're here for. And we're going to get this done. I appreciate your confidence in me, and most assuredly, though, my confidence in my team, the team at the central office, supervisors and our staff there and our principals, and then getting these principals to get it done. They will be going into their next job. Their job starts tonight, right now, this second, for 2022, 2023. Their job is to get started. They will be, in fact, I'm going right back to central office, and I'll do a press release, and then I'll turn right around, and then we will be posting in the morning, Teresa, not tonight. I won't have you do it tonight, but we'll have you post it in the first thing in the morning, the assistant principals at these respective schools. And then once that's done, then we'll go from there, and they will be assembling the staff. I shared with you the form that we developed as a team for our certified personnel and our support staff. And we will be starting next week, going through those. And we'll take those, that ends on March the 18th. And their team, they'll start assembling their teams at their individual schools to make a difference in Cannon County schools. And again, we're engaged in excellence every day in every way. And these folks are the ones I trust to do that. So thank you, Madam Chairman.
I don't have any comments except congratulations. Yeah. That's fantastic. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
And we're done. Aye.